Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL CM Storm Arena for day 2 of the World of Tanks Pro League Finals here at Gamescom 2013. My name is Mitch, and we are here to get into some serious World of Tanks action today. We've whittled down our initial 6 teams to 4, and all 4 of those teams had to fight tooth and nail to get where we are today, with the exception of one team. Of course, that's Virtus Pro, who managed to qualify on virtue of their placing in the regular season. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to our lovely casters, Pansy and Laughter, to give us a bit of a recap of yesterday.
Thank you so much. It was an incredible day yesterday. We had ups and downs, we had upsets all over the place. And I think there's going to be some games that we all remember, even the random 5-line push coming out from DeNova. Yeah. So we still remember that, guys, do not worry. But we do have some graphics about to be thrown up so you guys can kind of understand what has actually happened yesterday in case you're just tuning in now. You've missed a lot, but let's have a look so you can see overall where people began. This was before they got to this event, basically. So you can see the likes of Mouseport sitting in 3rd. They're a team that should be at this point. They're a team that aren't. DeNova did well. They're here now. Kazna Crew did better, and Evil Panda Squad really turned up. Obviously, as we mentioned before, Virtus Pro still sitting pretty to today's game, so they have nothing really to worry about at this point. But a lot of the teams have really stepped up. So let's have a look at the bracket so you can see exactly why we were so surprised yesterday. We had that many upsets. So we had Kazna Crew into the playoffs there. We have Evil Panda Squad there as well. This is an upset that is unbelievable. These two teams that shouldn't have made it by all accounts. In theory, DeNova was higher in the rankings, you saw it yourself. In theory, Mousesports should be right up there with the very best, but they just couldn't handle it. They lost out to Evil Panda Squad in the very first game of the day, and they could not even challenge DeNova, losing 3-2, the last map being Mines that we had yesterday. It was an absolute thriller. Make sure you go back and watch those VODs. But for you, I've got to ask it, what was the biggest standout game for you? Because there's a lot in that lot. It's hard to kind of find one that really goes, that's what I need. So
I think it was probably that game between DeNova and Mousesports, just because I thought, well, DeNova would really struggle against Mousesports. I mean, they did, okay, they went 3-2, but they kind of threw a couple of games in there as well. Like when you did that 5-line up the steps, in the middle of steps, you said. So I'm really kind of disappointed a little bit in Mousesports that, you know, they didn't really turn up yesterday. We saw at the interview, they were kind of a little bit, downhearted even before they turned up. So, yeah, but this is our standings for day. Virtus Pro versus DeNova will be our first game. Followed by Kazna Crew versus Evil Panda Squad. So yesterday's losers brackets, which is DeNova going up to play the first place finisher, well, from the group stages, Virtus Pro, and obviously Kazna Crew and Evil Panda Squad will duke it out after that. So some great games today. We got 4 of them all together. And remember, the grand finals are best of 7. So we're going to see all 7 maps in the map pool as well. Yeah,
no rest for me at all. They thought, you know what, your voice seemed a little bit hoarse yesterday. Let's make you do 7 possible maps. Well, 5. 5 maps.
Possibly 5 maps.
But there you go, guys. Hopefully that's kind of got you up to date with what happened yesterday and why it's such an upset and why everyone's still surprised at the results we've had so far. But there's a lot more to come, and as we mentioned, the very first game, we'll be seeing the top dogs, the one and only Virtus Pro, taking on DeNova, who had a rather shaky start to the finals here. But let's pass back on the stage to hopefully have a little bit of a catch-up and a glimpse into one of the best teams.
Yes, thank you, Pansy. Well, I think it's about time that we get around to introducing the Russian juggernaut Virtus Pro. We've got a clip to roll to show you a little bit about what they've been doing in the lead-up to the event.
Our season was pretty good. We finished with the first place, only with 2 losses and 20 wins. And we expected that it will be hard because 3 of our players, including captain, are new in our project and in our team. And we are very happy that we finished the season like this. We came here to get the first place, and I don't think that it will be a problem for us. We prepared good, and we are ready to finals. About our training regime, we have upped the frequency of our trainings in the last 3 weeks, and we had 8 days boot camp in Moscow, where all players were together, and we had a lot of trainings, and I think that it was enough to our team. So what we will do with the money if we want? It's very simple. We divide the money between players, and everybody from our players will decide how he is using his part of prize money.
Yes, cool, calm and confident are the Virtus Pro squad here. We're going to check in with their manager in just a moment because Virtus Pro, they're just getting their stuff set up now. Obviously, they weren't able to play yesterday. But in the meantime, I'm going to be joined up here on the stage by Virtus Pro's Lex. Now, Lex, thanks for joining me here. Yesterday, we saw some of the games with unexpected results. We saw, Mouse Sports go down fairly early on, and Kazna Crew sort of make it all the way through. A lot of people are saying, it's a very different situation between live and online events. You guys, of course, are very confident, but you are a bit wary of this. Are you, is there any concerns for you guys about potentially being upset?
My team, they don't fear anyone. I mean, they did very nice second season. They also did very nice first season, but then they lost to Dignitas, as you remember. They were second. So this tournament, we're motivated, and we will do our best to become on the first place. So to be honest, there is no difference for them to play LAN and online. The only problem maybe is some additional nerves when you are sitting here on the stage, here in this great place. So maybe this is the only aspect which cannot let us to show like the best result. But to be honest, we already talked about everything, and my team is motivated. So I'm sure they will do their best. They will play extremely good.
Fantastic. We hope so too. Now, obviously, you guys didn't play yesterday. You had a bit of time to just check things out. And we said you guys have been boot camping quite heavily, a lot of practice and preparation. What have you guys sort of been doing while you've been here in Cologne? Have you had a chance to rest after your flights, or have you been talking about the games, theory crafting? What have you guys been doing here in Cologne while you've been here?
Of course, on the bootcamp for like 9 days in Moscow, my team were preparing some special things. They were training some most effective strats and etc. for the LAN final. So I'm sure they will show some really new things, and these things hopefully will work.
Thank you very much, Lex. And also, of course, DeNova have made it through to this bracket as well. They went down yesterday, the last game of the day, against Evil Pentascold, which basically put them up against Virtus Pro. They got the perhaps potentially harder seeding as a result of their loss in that match. But let's see what they've been doing before this event. Okay, so having a little bit of a technical issue there with the DeNova video, but that's okay. What we'll do is we'll have a chat to Ronnie anyway, so put your hands together for Ronnie from DeNova. Now, Ronnie, you guys had a long day yesterday, a lot of games to play, and that last game of the day, best of 5, went to 5 games. How did you guys feel after yesterday? Obviously, when you sort of left, what was the emotion around the team?
I think we are more relaxed than yesterday because we are more used to those PCs and the atmosphere here. So I think we will show some better game today.
And to that end, have you guys been able to do any extra preparation? Obviously, when a team finds out they're playing against Virtus Pro, I guess a lot of guys think we need to get ready for this. Have you guys done any extra preparation, in advance for this match?
We've done nothing special to prepare for this particular match, just our usual stuff. And I think that the one who shows better team spirit and can handle the emotions will win this match. Although, of course, Virtus.pro are favorites, we have chances too.
You most certainly do. Thank you very much, Ronnie. Can you gentlemen just shake the hands? And we'll be on to our first game of the day. It's going to be Virtus.pro going up against DeNova, the winner going through to the grand final. So we're going to pass straight over to our casters to take us in.
Thank you so much, and I've got to say, I love hearing from Lex. I've heard a lot of interviews with the man. He doesn't obviously just do World of Tanks, he looks after the entirety of the team. And when he speaks, it's like listening to magic. The man's awesome. And it's good hearing they've been boot camping as well. Even you told me, wow, that's a long boot camp, that's dedication. They're not coming into this one lightly. Obviously, after the last upset of the Season 1 finals, so like, that's never happening again.
Yep.
No matter how many games we have to play, no matter how hard we have to play for how long, we want to be ready. And that's what I like to see from these guys, because they showed they were human throughout the season.
Yeah.
They still only lost 2 games, bear in mind. That was to Dignitas and Spale, who they've always had troubles with. It's very hard to deal with Spale anyway. They're a hard team to read. But they actually had a little bit of a weaker season overall than Season 1. But that's only bearing in mind the fact that everyone else kind of improved as well. You only have to look at the likes of DeNova, who are now challenging, to kind of understand that fact. But this season's been very close, but Virtus.pro is still sitting rather pretty. But these guys are wanting to step up even further. They're not happy being just okay at the top. They want to be the very best again. They want to be absolutely untouchable, and they can be. But DeNova certainly now has a struggle. That's what worries me here, because these two have faced up before, haven't they, Oliver?
They have faced up a few times. Back in match day 3, Virtus.pro actually completely stomped DeNova 3-0, but that's really when the team wasn't really put together that well, I think. And match day 14, DeNova came back a little bit more, just losing by a small margin, 3-2, taking the wins on Himmelsdorf and Prokhorovka. So some close results, and I think Virtus.pro has been a little bit more, on edge as opposed to last season. They did like 3 0s and 3 1s last season. This season they've had 6 3-2 results. That's quite a lot, considering, well, 3-2 is literally...
It's a very close game.
Exactly. You can't really say one team is better than the other when you have 3-2, because it can be...
that one map that suits you, you get as the defining map.
Yeah,
it can happen.
It can happen like that, and it can happen just because one guy, misses one shot here and there. It could just be luck. I mean, that's it at the end of the day. So Virtus.pro definitely can be beaten here. And the thing is, Virtus.pro actually have a nickname of second place, because they never win these big tournaments. They've never won a big tournament like this. They've won a few smaller ones, but they've never won Euro Stills. They didn't win the Season 1. They didn't win any Star Ladder in 2012. So they never won, and that's what must be playing so heavily on their mind. But they've got quite a few new players in there who have been quite successful before as well, so that could help their team a lot. All these things coming into the equation, and I think generally they are looking like the stronger team. But Kazakru and Evil Panel Squad, and even DeNova, who looked a bit shaky in some of their tactics yesterday, could easily challenge them here. Yeah,
indeed, and forever the bridesmaid, I might have to title them now, never the bride. But the interesting thing between these two, now obviously the disparity in the rankings is huge. Obviously Virtus.pro sitting at the top, DeNova not quite up there, but there is only 11 rounds between them.
Yeah.
Virtus.pro they've had a lot of close games, as you said, and it shows. 11 round difference between the very top of the table and that kind of average sitting top 6.
Yeah.
So this is how close the season's been. Hopefully Virtus.pro are ready for this. It's all eyes on them now to step up. We've heard they've been boot camping. We've heard they've been practicing. Hell, you even told me when you walked in this morning, we were pretty early, I guess, and I just about got in. It was like they were setting up. They were already here at 7 a.m, making sure their setup was perfect, making sure they were ready, warmed up, and raring to go. Because you can't take DeNova lightly. You can see them on your screens right there. They look happy, they look relaxed, and they're a dangerous side. Now they've actually got some sleep beside them. They're not just playing, 10 hours a day of World of Tanks. They could really step up here.
They certainly could. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to play. And I think, DeNova said they have some special tactics in store for us as well, so maybe there'll be something completely different. We saw some great special tactics from Kazakru yesterday. DeNova's special tactics not so good so far, but we're going to have to wait and see for that one. Hopefully there are actually some special tactics as opposed to just, on-the-fly random decision-making, a bit like Spale in many respects. So, yeah, I think we're in for some great games today, and obviously after that we'll be seeing Kazakru versus Evil Panda Squad. We can talk a bit about that later as well. Well, that's going to be an absolute fantastic cracker of a game.
Oh, yeah.
But, this is going to be close. it's going to be best of 5 up until the finals, and that'll be grand finals, where the guys will be playing for the €50,000 first place prize pool.
Just a bit of pocket change.
It's just a little bit of pocket change.
Much.
Yeah, not bad.
I don't think I could fit it in all of my pockets, to be fair. I'd like to try. If the winner wants to let me try and walk away with a lot of money, I'm fine with that.
Well, they're buying me a drink at least, I think. At least a couple of drinks. Whoever wins this has to buy me a few drinks.
I'm surprised all the boys don't buy drinks anyway, Oliver. You're such a pretty young man.
Wow. The insults have started already.
His
10 o'clock in the morning,
brings all
folks.
the boys to the yard. You should see what happens at ESL parties. It's disgraceful.
It's true.
Couldn't even get to the VIP area because you're just being flocked by men. It was unbelievable.
It's just my fans, especially in Cologne. I mean, come on.
Big fans, big fans. But back on the topic of these two, before you already spiral into this area we just shouldn't be. It seems to happen a lot, guys. I'm sorry.
It does.
But it really does. I don't know what to expect here, because the thing with these two is, right, Virtus.pro, quite a typically Russian-style team, right? They control pace.
They are Russian, so yeah.
But it's that style that Russians always have.
Yeah,
it's that controlling pace. It's that methodical way of executing things. If DeNova, for example, looked at who had previously beaten Virtus.pro or had the close games, maybe they could adopt some of that kind of Spell play style, or what we saw Evil Panda Squad kind of bringing in a little bit on the first games. I'm curious to see if they're willing to kind of switch it up, and I'm wondering if that's the special tactics they'll be going for. Pressuring Virtus.pro from the very beginning, not letting them get comfortable and controlling the pace.
That's exactly it. With Virtus.pro, you can never let them just sit back and relax, you know. This is what the Russian teams do, basically. They spend the first couple of minutes just scouting out, getting as much information as possible, getting comfortable on the map, and then executing a well-planned, well-thought-through, well-trained strategy. So that's why, you know, you see your Spales and stuff really start, you know, getting on their nerves and actually winning games. I mean, Spales won 3 out of 4 games in his last 2 seasons against Virtus.pro. So, you know, it can be a real problem for them. Just because they just break their meta, don't let them get comfortable, and that's what DeNova is going to be thinking. That's what the man on the left here, Ronnie, will be thinking. But we can go through the map picks here.
And now I'm not panicking about Airfield. This is
Airfield
lovely.
and Y Park not in there.
Yeah, so you can see it actually being there'll be the bands and the picks going through at the moment.
So Virtus.pro straight away banning out Himmelsdorf, knowing how strong DeNova is on Himmelsdorf. They did actually beat them on Himmelsdorf in match day 14, so good pick for them. Abby going out as well for the side of DeNova. Abby's been won a total of 63% of the time by the side of Virtus.pro, so maybe a good ban for them.
To get out, yeah.
A good little choice there. Now we're just waiting for our first map pick, as those 2 bans have gone out already. I'm predicting perhaps like a room. Yeah, perhaps a room. I see what we did there. Rurenberg on Ensk could be the first 2 maps. Mines will be the last map of this day. If we do get it back to 5 games, the last map will be Mines. So just waiting on that 4th map pick now. Could be your Prokhorovkas. Yes, it will be. Thank you very much. A complete guess, but I got it right. Prokhorovka will be the 4th map of the day. We'll probably will be seeing that. I think, you know, these 2 teams are pretty close. I think we could easily see a 3-1, if not a 3-2.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about DeNova's special tactics.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie to you. When Bump from Wargaming came up to me this morning, he said, well, they've got special tactics waiting for these guys. They know what they're doing against Virtus.pro. Do they really? I'm not sure anymore. In the most important game, they decided some really strange stuff. So what are we having from map 3? I'm not too sure.
Just waiting on map 3 to be picked by these 2 teams. It'll be Rurenberg. Map 3 will be Rurenberg. We definitely will be seeing that hybrid city map. So it's going to be an interesting game. Rurenberg has been one of the shaky ones for DeNova, although they did beat Evil Panda Squad on it quite well. Map 2, then it will have to be Ensk or I believe it was Ensk and one of the other ones. What was the last map? It's too early for me, Lauren. It's too early.
We haven't eaten a million Red Bulls yet, so bear with us. We'll get a clarification on the maps there just so we can find out. Obviously, we are still working with some new features you may have noticed to the stream. Awesome producer. So
Steps and Ensk, yeah.
There we go.
Should have worked that out, to be honest. Yeah, so
we are bad people.
Steps, this will be your 2nd map. Ensk will be your 1st map. So we're going to see first time this weekend Ensk in the map pool, because we didn't see it at all yesterday. So we're going to move on to that one first today, which is quite interesting.
As well.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad map at all.
I'm a big fan of the map, and Well, the thing I've got to keep in mind now, DeNova did say they've been practicing against the Russian, so I can imagine Na'Vi might be in that mix, and we know how strong they are on Ensk. If they've been picking up a way to play against them, they could probably apply it to Virtus Pro. It's all about that overall picture that they might be going for, because I'd be surprised if they actually played these guys before the event, just because they don't want to give away anything. Just the playstyles alone are so different at offline events to online ones. They can't really work it out like that, but they can already overcome the comfortable playstyle of the opposition. If DeNova can, they've already won the first battle there, I feel. But it's not going to be an easy one at all.
Yeah, and you can see Ostat Bender's got a special hat on there. He's obviously been out shopping somewhere. I don't know which part of Cologne sells those kind of hats, but he's got it on anyway. I think he's like transformed into Jamaican overnight or something, I'm not sure.
He doesn't look very Jamaican to me.
Is that not a Jamaican hat, right? I think. I don't know. It's got the Jamaican colours on it. I don't know.
You're making me sad with all these horrible words about this. Anyway, I'm so sorry.
You're making me sad. Unbelievable.
Bam. It's happening early, guys. Can you tell it's the last day of Gamescom? I bet you can. But anyway, I'll go wait for these guys to get the tank picks on the way. Hopefully it won't take too long. Otherwise, I'll be sad. I'm not going to say it again. Don't worry, Oliver. But yeah, this is going to be one of those days, isn't it? It's going to be a long day. I can feel it already.
It's going to be a good day. Really incredible games coming up. I think we're going to see some of the best World of Tanks action ever. Definitely. I mean, it's Jinx Padlock as well. So his first maps will be Steps. On your screen now is DeNova Gaming. So second one will be clarification. Second one will be Ensk. First one will be Steps. But we'll still be seeing Ensk because it is a best of 5. So we'll be seeing a minimum of 3 maps.
We're checking Facebook. You need to see those holiday pictures of your favourite, you know. Or is that Match.com? I'm not sure. He's trying to get a little hookup, you know, while he's getting the money in the bank. Like you say, if he walks away with 50k, I don't think he'll be struggling. So I'm sure he'll be just fine. A bit of Facebook chat. Any updates going on there? Can't quite make it out, sadly. I'd quite enjoy to see who he's chatting away
Probably
to.
in Russian, so.
Yeah, I'd struggle. There we go. Change the camera shot because now we're not checking Facebook, sadly. But we are checking out the tanks. We're seeing what they might be eyeing up for this map on Steps. What do you think we're going to see coming out from these two? You've already said it before that there's we know there's special tactics in the mind for DeNova, but what do you think that's going to be here?
I'm not entirely sure. I think they do have something cool up their sleeves. I mean, yesterday did give us a taste of what it could be, but today hopefully they can execute everything perfectly. And you know, second day is always a day which all the teams bring out their best and most practiced tactics. The first day is kind of just like, all right, we're going to get through this one, we're going to get qualified for the second day, and then the second day we can pull out all the stops. I mean, it's something that we've seen, you know, loads of teams, you know, Mouse Sports comes to mind, although they haven't qualified for this day, unfortunately, they did get knocked out by DeNova in a 3-2 struggle. But tank picking has started. These guys are just camoing out their tanks. The MX-3090 on your screen there. But tank picking has started, so we can switch to that screen. T1 AMX-3090 being picked out from the side of Virtus Pro straight away, and that will be mirrored by the DeNova Gaming guys. So double T1, double AMX-3090 to start off with. I think we're just going to be seeing the standard picks here. Maybe one of these two teams will be picking the Pershing, as it was picked quite a lot yesterday by DeNova. They picked it 3 times in total.
It was used well.
It was used well. 2.7k damage on one of the maps, but
not against it at all.
And then one of the maps, they just did absolutely no damage in it. Though it was really terrible at one of them, but that's just because the way it was played as opposed to anything.
I'm pretty sure Phoenix picked it up and then they stepped it up. To be fair.
Yeah, it was Phoenix who picked it and did really well in it. Yeah. Bad news, the one who failed with it.
That's it.
T1, T69 in Virtus Pro's next pick, and that'll be mirrored by the side of DeNova. Double AMX 3090 for Virtus Pro next. Expecting the same from the side of DeNova Gaming. But just waiting on that next pick. I'm interested to see exactly how these teams are going to play these tanks. Double AMX 3090 will be the pick from DeNova Gaming, so going for that standard pick. Last pick from Virtus Pro, T69, not throwing the bout here at all, just going for those standard picks. As will DeNova going for the T69, not going for the Pershing at all. So that'll be triple AMX 3090, double T69, double T1 for both teams, really using that high speed of that French tank to scour the middle and the middle area. So those are your T teams there. We'll be going head-to-head in our first game of the day. YR, positive, Ronnie, Ostat Bender, Winnie the Pooh. Bad news, Nick Lemos, he's not here today. It's instead Phoenix playing in his place. So Ronnie, the team captain of DeNova Gaming. And for Virtus Pro, we have Breakneck, Just Cause, D-Light, Las Vegas, Amelka, Karitz, and Kusok. The team captain being Karitz, along with the team manager of Diver. So some really talented players. Good to see Delight here. He couldn't make it to DreamHack last time, but he's here today. He's going to be showing us how it's done in that AMX 1390. Also one of my favorite players, Breakneck, who hasn't impressed me so far this season, but hopefully he can step it up here at Gamescom in the Season 2 World Tanks Pro League Finals.
Yeah, I'm looking at, it's all eyes on Virtus Pro for me right now. We see what picks they're going for. We know the map. We know that DeNova have something laying in wait for the guys, but it's their time to really step up now. There's such a good team online. I've never had the opportunity to see them at an offline event, so this will be a treat for me. Hopefully it is for you guys in the audience as well. They're just discussing the final moments before they go live, so do not fear, we will be underway nice and quickly. But I've got to ask you the question then. Who's the money on?
I believe the money is on. I believe the money is on Virtus Pro at the moment. I mean, the one thing Virtus Pro has a disadvantage here is the fact that they haven't played this weekend. Okay, they've had 9 days of boot camp, which will give them quite a lot of an advantage. But DeNova's been playing a lot as well. They said they've been training a lot. And then, you know, Virtus Pro a little bit behind in terms of, you know, warm-up. They didn't play yesterday. They didn't have any of that kind of backup. They didn't have the confidence of going through yesterday. So I think that could also be a problem here.
It could be. It could very well be. Just have a little look, see whether or not... I don't know. I'm looking to Virtus Pro to really start performing now. I know they can do it, but I want to see how they actually plan to execute it, because Russian tactics, the passive tactics, I haven't seen actually come into play that much at this moment. I've seen very little kind of disciplined play. It's always been those rush tactics, those aggressive pushes, which I'm fine with. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy seeing, you know, a good kind of fast, quick strategy that's very, you know, on the, you know, edge pretty much, and I like seeing that. But it's not always going to be consistent. You know, we saw Kaznakru almost being undone by it because they went overly aggressive. Evil Panther Squad felt the same pressure. If one team goes, okay guys, let's play with discipline, which you can get from boot camps, that's where the trouble's going to be. So I want to see what Virtus Pro bring. I don't think they're going to be a boring team on land. They aren't really a boring team online, but I'm just waiting to see what they have in store. Bear in mind, these guys are at the very top of the scene. They have won 20 games out of 22, only losing to Team Dignitas and Spale, who pretty much are their kryptonite. But neither of those are here. So in theory, this should be theirs. But we've seen upsets time and time again already today. Well, yesterday, should I say. Maybe some upsets. But it's going to be a hard task. DeNova struggled heavily. They did not have an easy day at all. Likes of Ronnie, Positive, YR, even Phoenix had troubles. These guys, they had, you know, real ambition. They had great adaptation, but actually closing out games, it was a little bit close for comfort, to say the very least. So I do believe that these guys are ready. We're just going to give them the nod to say countdown. When ready. And bear in mind, this is the first time we will be seeing Virtus Pro in Season 2 at an offline event. Last time, they fell at the final hurdle. They challenged Dignitas, the underdogs, and they lost. So now it's their time to reclaim their title and get absolutely prepared to the utmost to bring the very best action they can, because, well, it's all eyes on them, isn't it, really? They're the guys who sit pretty at the very top of the league. And, well, as soon as you're up there, you're on a pedestal, and everyone wants to knock you off it. That's the problem. Everyone knows how to counterplay you. I remember talking to top teams in different titles, and they said the only issue being is everyone focuses on us because we are the best. Everyone knows our strategies because we're the very top of the scene. So, guys, we are almost underway. It's so close, it's unbelievable. We will be jumping into the one and only steps. So good morning, folks. We are jumping into the very first game here. It will be Steps. It will be on the blue side, Virtus Pro, facing off against the golden yellow DeNova, who will be starting on the south, as you can see on your screen. So now, what can we expect from these two, Ollie? Because I've seen Virtus Pro, you know, online all the time. I've seen them do well, but I've never seen them in an offline event.
Yeah,
what are we seeing so far?
I think we can expect to see a lot of aggressive play from these two teams. They are both Russian speaking, and they both like the Russian play style. Virtus.pro definitely the stronger team in that respect. While the side of DeNova slightly little bit more defensive, more towards the standard European style of play. But it's not saying that they're not aggressive at all. We saw some great aggressive play from them yesterday, perhaps too aggressive in some respects. But both these teams opting to go for the trench at this point in time. Actually, Delight taking so much damage, going down to 351, and we have our first engagement.
We do indeed. A return bit of fire comes in from Just Cause, and Melka keeps eyes on that T69. But as you said, Delight is in a little bit of trouble. There's nothing delightful of a start this bad for him. 351, and Melka receives a shell. 870 make it 2. Bad News is doing damage, but finally the reply starts to come in for Virtus.pro, but they seem a little rusty. They seem a little bit like they haven't had their Weetabix this morning because, well, they're getting actually pretty hammered by DeNova at the moment, who just seem to have the upper hand.
Yeah, they seem like the stronger team. They kind of had everything prepared and ready just for Virtus.pro to come around that corner. Delight popped over the whole of the AMX 3090 troop of DeNova, Ostapbender, YR and Phoenix, who were just waiting, lying ready for him. And I mean, he got absolutely nailed straight away down to 351. And then Melka tried to respond with some damage onto Bad News as he pushed across. Positive was there to deal with him and managed to take him down to quite a low amount of HP, down to 627. Kusok also took some damage down to 843. So everyone's taken a bit of damage on Virtus.pro, but they're a team that can adapt, they're a team that can change. But DeNova now have such a HP advantage, about over a tank's worth of HP advantage, that they can actually just think about what they want to do to break Virtus.pro. They just need to move around, they need to think about what they want to do, and then find a way into this team. But they have the advantage here, they just need to grasp it and really find how they want to grasp it, because they can do one of two things. They can either push into the base of the side of Virtus.pro, put some cap pressure on with the T1s perhaps, and then decide to push around onto the retreating Virtus.pro, or they can just charge straight in and hope that they win the firefight. But it's a bit of a gamble either way.
Yeah, but once again, Bad News peers around. Just Cause and Breakneck were waiting to receive and did get that connection off 8-7. You can see as soon as he make them near the crest of that hill, they are snapping to the action, making sure they are prepared. They had a little bit of a rude awakening, a bit of a rough start. Another shell will connect. Bad News receives a bit of a hammering right now, down to only 338 HP. And this is where Virtus.pro will start bringing this back. Fire onto Positive now. As you can see, every single time they know exactly which target to focus. They can work it out, as Positive is down to 828, being just punished for peering up a little bit too much. And if Virtus.pro can keep hold of this is the start that they now need to keep working back towards. They've taken the HP away from Bad News, Positive and YR, and more damage is being dealt as Ostapbender tries to make a bit of a push towards them. Breakneck responds in kind. Just Cause receives a shell to the face. Bad News coming around from the corner. Everyone lining up, exchanging shells, but the focus was truly towards Ostapbender, who pushed a little bit too far. Bad News goes down, and now YR left very much on his own. Phoenix tries to get into the action, but is it too little too late? I do believe it is, as Virtus.pro have just sitting pretty and just waited for the push, and they're so good at dealing with it right now, as our Positive and Phoenix are the only two can really challenge here for DeNova. They're trying to do some work. Fire comes through. It does go towards a Melka, does absolutely no work, as Kusok will fight Phoenix, and now Positive looking a little bit lonely here, taking on Breakneck 1v1. 382 up against 368. It's all about the reload. He got tracked there. Breakneck does get that fixed up and does get the killing blow. And now YR goes down in similar fashion, leaving only the T1 standing for DeNova. And you said the difference there is the fact that, well, Virtus.pro can handle those situations. They handle them perfectly. And, well, they just did it again. They had the disadvantage at the start and they turned it.
They turned it an absolute treat. That was a brilliant piece of play from the side of Virtus.pro. All they had to do was wait for the side of DeNova just to think of doing something stupid, to be honest. DeNova decided just to turn around and try and retreat out of the situation they were in, trying to get a better angle on Virtus.pro. That allowed Virtus.pro just to get some sniping shots on. Bad News went down to 338, so that leveled the HP, the HP pool between the two teams. And then DeNova just said, okay, we actually need to push in there, which wasn't a particularly bad call. But the thing is, Ostapbender went in too fast, too far. He should have waited for this whole of his team to push in. They should have pushed in as a group, really surrounded the side of Virtus.pro and tried to take them out like that. They did have Kusok on the back for Virtus.pro to try and get some good shots on. He did do a lot of damage there, so that was the one problem they had. But both teams definitely have the potential to beat each other here. We just saw Virtus.pro could have gone down then, but just one little mistake and you get punished. That's what these Russian teams do so well.
Yeah, and with Ensk now coming up, Actually, no, on the case of the original app, I did not see any special tactics coming out. I saw slightly kind of undedicated play from DeNova, really. I didn't see anything new from them. It felt like they went in dribs and drabs and just taking off. Like Ostad Bender pushing forward on his own.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. Why would you go into a line of these guys? They're scary enough as individuals, but you put 4 of them together and it's basically a shooting squad. You don't want to take that on. I don't get what that was about, but we will be heading into Ensk next, so maybe they have something in store for this. Do you think this could be a map where DeNova can do some work?
I think it certainly is a map they could do some work. They are pretty damn good at Ensk, to be honest. One of the better teams, I mean, apart from Spale, perhaps, they are the team that use a 110 on Ensk every single time. But, you know, Virtus Pro's weakest map was actually Steps. They've lost it, you know, a lot of times. They've only won 42% of the time, so it's pretty insane, losing 58%. So that was their weakest map, which they just won. So they'll be very happy about that, getting that one out of the way. They can move on to Ensk, which they're a lot stronger at, winning 62% of the time. So moving on to that one with a big smile on their face. You can see they're looking pretty confident as a team, just waiting and itching to get into these battles. So 1-0 at the moment to Virtus Pro, taking Steps against DeNova after one crucial mistake for that team. We can see how DeNova wants to push in here. I'm hoping for a good game, but Ensk can also provide a little bit of a slowdown for these teams.
It can, but it's how I feel that DeNova want to go about taking these guys on. If they're willing to switch line up and do a little bit of a Spale tactic, or, you know, bring out something aggressive, I'll be looking forward to that, because I want to see them switch it up, because we know DeNova are talented. We know they've always been that team on the cusp of brilliance, but they haven't quite shown it yet. Let's have a look at the tank picks, see what they're going for so far, because they have got that underway here onto the second map. So let's have a little look. And do you think we're going to see a normal kind of start, apart from that 110 that you mentioned that DeNova always like to run with?
DeNova could even pick that Pershing again. I'm not quite sure.
That's very true.
I mean, they did pick it on a Himmelsdorf. It did actually work out for them pretty damn well against the side of Mouse Sports yesterday in our losers bracket first match. So that could work out, but so far the standard stuff, AMX 5100 T1 being picked by DeNova, responding with the same from Virtus Pro, and then, well, the same again. So 2 AMX 5100 apiece, 2 T1s apiece before DeNova picks the double IS3, as does Virtus Pro. So everything even Steven so far. We're just waiting on those last 2 picks, the 2 crucial picks that can decide if the teams are going to try something new. Perhaps the KV5, perhaps the 110. DeNova going for the 5100, so no Pershing in here this time around. Just waiting on Virtus Pro to pick their last one. It could be a T32.
It could be. It'd be nice to see it. There we go. You can actually see what we're seeing now, guys. Do not fear. T69.
T69. So standard
Normal
lineup.
stuff.
Completely standard for the side of Virtus Pro. Double AMX 5100, double IS3, T69, double T1. Well, the side of DeNova, something a little bit more unusual, going for the double AMX 5100, triple IS3, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, triple IS3 and double T1.
Huh. Okay. We'll see how they implement it.
Yeah, we'll see how that one works out for them. There's your 2 teams here today, apart from, well, yeah, the Hive is there now, so that's all good. He's actually called Phoenix, but he's called Phoenix in game, but his actual name on the Russian server was the Hive when he was playing for the Red Rush, so some confusion there, obviously. But a strange reason, DeNova's only picked 4 tier 8 tanks.
This was the face that you made, isn't it? This is why you were looking baffled then, because you kind of like, you described what tanks they got, and you're like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They've only picked 4 tier 8 tanks. Maybe they forget that they can take 5. I'm not sure.
I'm not going to doubt them. They play this game more than I eat hot dinners, so I'm not going to sit here and go, guys, do you remember how to play this game? I hope you do, because, you know,
walk on stage. You guys know, you guys were the tanks players?
Have you ever tried this game? Yeah. But obviously maybe they've got, you know, their own sort of style to it, or their own picks they want to be playing with, and this is maybe their composition that they enjoy. It is a little bit curious, I will give it that. I'm not too sure what to make of that.
I'm pretty sure that they just don't realise it. I mean, the last pick was the 5100. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what's going on there. They'll probably just pick later, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a weird start to things here, but it is still early for these guys. As we said, Virtus Pro were here at 7 AM practicing. They were not messing around today. You know, they were getting set up, making sure they were comfortable on the practice servers playing away, and I walked in, nursing a cup of coffee, and I was like, Jesus Christ, guys, do you ever leave the building? Do they just sleep under the stage? But no, they were here practicing, getting ready, and Lex was behind them, cracking the whip, making sure they're getting back to it after boot camping. They don't do anything but play World of Tanks now, is what I've learned. This is it.
That's what you got to do for 50,000 euros, Lauren. It's a lot of money. I would play World of... I mean, I'm quite happy to play World of Tanks for free.
I'm sorry, you play it all the time
for 50,000 euros, I mean, I think, I don't know, I would live it. I would literally, like, port myself into the game and just
Sadly,
be a tank
Oliver,
in real
you're
life.
not quite good enough to compete for this money, because this is the very best here. Being average, it's not enough anymore. Got to step up. And we are watching the best of the best here. It is Virtus.pro, who are currently a map to the good. They picked up their weakest map already, the map that normally people, do end up taking against them. It's the one that people will actually win on, but no such luck today. They've been making that boot camp go to good use, really. They're making sure that counted, and it certainly did. They looked, a nice, strong team. I don't feel as though they were pushed that hard personally. I feel as though DeNova kind of went in dribs and drabs and didn't really focus fire.
Yeah.
And it was just easy pickings, good control, good focus from Virtus.pro, just easily dealt with it. But Ensk, I feel you can't do drib and drab play on this. I feel it's very much a funnel map. If you do challenge, you're normally at least with 3 players around you. You can't go on your own unless you're down, the train track lines possibly, but everyone knows how to play that in their, certain tanks. You don't mess that up. So hopefully DeNova can really push Virtus.pro to their limits, because I want to see what they've been working on and what kind of puts them out of their comfort zone. If they go for that aggressive play, that would be fantastic. There's just a little bit of an issue with TeamSpeak right now, so they are just going to be fixing that. But guys, do keep your predictions coming through to us. Do the hashtag WOT Pro League. We will be checking it out. Tweet at myself, at They Call Me Pansy, or at LaughterWOT, and we will be keeping up to date with any results. If you want us to, find a specific player for you guys to talk to or get interviewed, we'll hassle our lovely host to do it for you. Do not fear, do get in touch, because I can't read Twitch chat right now. Normally I leave it open and I enjoy it and I kind of encourage people and I play Sandstorm and things like that, but I can't do it here today. We have proper production rather than me pressing buttons, which is a shame in some sort of aspects.
In the aspect that stuff doesn't break and actually stuff works in many ways. Because when
I don't break things, I merely hinder them.
You dropped a can of Red Bull over our computers. A brand new spanking...
It was thirsty, Oliver. Shut up. So hopefully they'll
Water cooled with Red Bull.
Exactly. It gives you wings. Sponsor me, Red Bull.
Brilliant. So we got the final pick from DeNova. They finally managed to pick that tank. Now be the extra 5100 they're going for, the triple AMX 5100, double IS3, double T1. Not that the third IS3 even. So pretty interesting pick for them. No extra T69, so going for the 1.8k damage that SA-47 gun can provide, the 100mm of Doom on end. So they won't have the kind of maneuverability and the low reload time as a T69, but they will have the higher damage and they'll have the high HP pool as well. So that can kind of help them a lot in many respects, especially if it comes up to a firefight. But we are going to be jumping into our second map. It will be Ensk.
So, welcome to the second map, ladies and gentlemen. In the north, in that golden yellow, it will be DeNova facing off against the blue Virtus.pro in the south here on Ensk. The first map did go into the hands of the Russian giants, who merely swept away the minuscule DeNova, but maybe it's time to make a stand. Maybe this is where the difference happens and we see them finally breaking out those special tactics. But what are we seeing so far?
Well, very aggressive start from the side of DeNova, pushing straight forward. Ostapben's going to take the first, and we have our first firefight.
This is incredible. They're going straight into the action. As you said, Ostapben did get smashed down to 1070. The fire now being put on towards Kusok. 602, he has to back away from the situation. YL now being focused down. And to be fair, DeNova's in a good position. They've split up Virtus.pro. Kusok going extremely low. 1-2-6. One shot, he is down. YL comes in, but here comes Delight and Karitz having to now apply the pressure. They've got to get around from the side. 280 dealt. Positive now, splitting off, focusing down Just Cause. Las Vegas comes around, but he's only that dear little T1. Not going to do too much, but Delight does. 3-4-3. They're trying to use that tank for cover, but he's being pounded left, right, and center. And Karitz actually could finish Phoenix off here if he does have a little bit of luck. But nevertheless, Ostap Bender does get taken down by Breakneck. Phoenix still stands on a mere 13 HP as we speak. And now here comes Delight to the party. And it's Las Vegas in that dear little T1 who actually did pick up the kill onto that 5100, a rather unusual sight to see. And we are seeing the absolute dismantling of Virtus Pro here. This is very unusual, but DeNova went aggressive. They did what we knew they had to do, and it's paid off. Bad news now on the heels of Amelka, chasing him down, trying to find his way through positive, goes in for the ram, and well, he got it. So, well, DeNova looked pumped for that one, and that was exactly what they needed to do there. They played aggressive, they played fast, and they split the attention and did not allow Virtus Pro to focus down anyone.
What just happened? I have no idea what just happened.
Okay, hold on. Bad news just happened. 2.7k damage already.
Unbelievable. Like, literally, that was such a... I mean, that was a good little tactic from DeNova because they managed to use the 5100s, just an absolute pummel the side of Virtus Pro, and Amelka was into the party too late with that T69 because he's over towards the 6 line, 9 line even, protecting that train green side. And then, you know, the whole of DeNova started to get dismantled by a good Virtus Pro, you know, just individual skill. But then that's the thing, you know, bad news came in. He had the IS-3, and he was just the one pummeling constantly, and that's what's the beauty of the IS-3. It has that reload, you know, 11, 12 seconds just sitting there, pummel, 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 390 average damage, you know, pumping pretty much 400 damage a shot, and that's like a 3-shot for a T69, pretty much. So great play from the side of DeNova, great individual play from the side from the one and only Bad News, who's had a pretty up and down couple of days here. Some of his play has been very shocking, some of his play has been absolutely superb. I'm just looking for that consistency with him.
Yeah, and hopefully he can provide that, as they do need it now. They will be going into Ruinberg next, so not going to be the easiest map to pull it out on. I feel as though, once again, Virtus Pro is so strong on this. I remember watching them against Mouse Sports, who did end up being third, and it was just annihilation all over the place. I thought Mouse Sports, you know, were doing well. They were really building up, and then they got blown out of the water. But it's going to be DeNova taking them on. We saw the aggressive strategies working. Do you think we're going to see that again here?
I think we could possibly see it again. I mean, it's that 50-50 between the village and the city that really counts for these two teams. Virtus Pro definitely a village team, as are DeNova. So
all about the village people.
It's all about the village people. Exactly. That's these guys really do like their villages. I'm just looking forward to seeing how that one's going to play out. At the moment, Virtus Pro is sitting on a 60% win ratio on Ruinberg. Not their strongest map, but pretty damn close to being. So they've got a couple of good results in there as well. DeNova has yet to beat them on here, so they need to keep that in mind. But we're looking for some aggressive play from these two. Definitely not within the first couple of minutes, but DeNova showing that they can push aggressively, taking it on Ruinberg against them. At the moment, one map apiece.
I've got to ask you the question, how can they execute things aggressively on this map if they wanted to use that playstyle?
And they've got to really push in hard, you know. They've got to get something a little bit quicker, reload than the AMX 5200, perhaps a couple of AMX, not AMXs, a couple of T69 as opposed to the AMX 1390s. So T1 AMX 1390 being picked by the side of Virtus Pro, but it's pretty good picks from them so far. At the moment, DeNova picking that as well, so T1 AMX 1390. We're looking for how much damage they're going to take with those little light tanks. 1.1k is the HP pool there. Perhaps we'll see another KV5 come out from DeNova, which we saw yesterday. I'm not sure exactly who was playing that. It might have been Winnie the Pooh, in fact.
I believe it was.
Yeah, he was playing the KV5, which didn't go too badly for them.
I don't like it.
I wasn't a massive fan of it.
It's the elephant in the room, you know what I mean? No one... I don't feel it has a place. It's too slow. It's too hefty. Has no maneuverability. It always feels that it's kind of joining late to the party for me. It does good. It does receive a lot of damage. They can play it like that, but if someone adapts around it, which both these teams can do, I feel like it becomes irrelevant. It becomes just that kind of sore thumb.
Yeah, certainly. It can definitely it can definitely get himself into, well, it can definitely get itself into bad situations, but even worse, it can't even get itself into situations because it's so damn slow. But the next 3 picks, in fact, will be Virtus.pro taking the T1 T69. The next one will be the MX5100 T1 from DeNova, and after that will be the T69 and the 5100 from Virtus.pro. So at the moment, MX5100 double T69, double T1, and looking for that MX3090 from the side of Virtus.pro. And the same goes for DeNova. So at the moment, pretty even in terms of lineup, about maybe a couple of changes to come. Double T69 coming out from DeNova. So yeah, they're going for that really high damage, high burst damage at least, and low reload times.
Right.
So perhaps some indicative of some very offensive plays here.
That's what I want to see. I want to see that kind of fast-paced aggression. We've been seeing a lot of it throughout this tournament so far. A lot of the teams have been opting for that, feeling clearly more confident or just a little bit more kind of brave at an offline event, which is kind of curious. But I'd love to see that again. That's what I'm wanting, to really see them push to their limits. But we are seeing the IS-3 now coming out. But where does an IS-3 have on this map apart from the city area?
DeNova. Always picking the strange picks. I mean, come on, guys. MX39 was the last pick from Virtus.pro, then DeNova were like, oh, IS-3. I did talk about the IS-3 on Ruinberg a little bit yesterday. I kind of said, it can possibly work. It's a little too slow, in my opinion.
I'm with you on it.
It's a little bit too slow. It's a little bit too brutish. But teams have been using it. Dragonborn's used it. We've seen Spell use it before. It's been tested. It's been tried, and it has worked. But it's one of those tanks where you've really got to question if it can really get from A to B. But then again, you say the same about KV5. But because the KV5 represents such a niche in World of Tanks in terms of HP for a tier 8, and the KV3 doesn't, it kind of represents mediocrity in pretty much every respect apart from damage. So both teams are ready. Just both your teams on your screens now. We got the side of DeNova versus Virtus.pro. 1 game apiece here. Steps being taken by Virtus.pro after kind of a bad move from DeNova. They could have also won that in terms of HP, but DeNova crushing Virtus.pro with a mighty push on Ensk.
Yeah, indeed. And I'm not sure who I'm going to be looking at to really step out on this map. Like, we know Virtus.pro are a talented bunch, but you always kind of want... Who is your play? Is it Breakneck you always want to step up? You always look towards
I always say Breakneck, but he never steps up. He breaks my heart every time.
I saw what you did there. It's quite funny. But I'm not sure who I want to be doing well in this one. It depends... depends how they focus up, because...
Winnie the Pooh. It's your favourite player, isn't it?
I do like Winnie the Pooh.
It's probably the best name in any professional team in the world,
okay,
to be honest.
The things I come out with, right, in World of Tanks, sometimes are on the line of sexual innuendos. I accept that. And then adding Winnie the Pooh into the matter, I'm ruining my childhood every time I commentate this game. I swear to God, it's literally like, I used to like Winnie the Pooh. Now he's getting pounded. It's like, oh, this is horrible.
Well, we can see if DeNova does take the honey on this one, because...
Oh, Lord. Oh... That is just vile. We're not allowed to do puns like that this early in the morning. Like, it's just rude. Oh, dear Lord. But anyway, Virtus.pro are ready. We are just going to wait on DeNova to get themselves prepared for this one, because it will be the map to give them the advantage. Because it is all even, all square at the moment. Not quite what we'd expect, really.
Yeah.
Ensk brought it back all even after we saw Steps going in favour to Virtus.pro. So it's been a really curious start, to be completely honest with you. And I'm just going to see what's going on with DeNova, really. These guys are taking forever and a day. Quite let them start.
So, yeah, I think DeNova got a couple of issues with their team speak. I think they're getting that sorted. So hopefully we can jump into this next game. But which team do you think is really going to step up here, Lauren? Because so far it looks pretty even in terms of skill and ability, and in terms of tactics. The only thing which Virtus.pro looks stronger on is that reactionary play.
I don't care as long as they ready up. Personally, I'd like them to begin. The one thing, Virtus.pro has been here early. They got ready. They got themselves set up.
Yeah.
Good guys. Now you can just sit there and get it done. You don't need to be messing around with settings while you're mid in game. There's a time to prepare, and it's before this, because now DeNova have lost the momentum from the last map that they've had, because they're going to be sitting around fixing things. If they got here a little bit earlier, set up and chilled out and got everything ready, they'd be underway. And they could use the momentum they had from the second map to go and challenge on the third.
Yeah.
Now, Virtus.pro can go, well, we're ready, we've discussed things, we need to worry. We can take this as we want to. There's no need to, get worked up or anything of the such. And I don't like teams doing this kind of stuff when it slows the momentum down of the game, it slows the pace down of the game, and you're going to allow the likes of Virtus.pro a chance to get back into this one. But I do believe all the issues have been sorted, so do not fear, guys. We will be heading into that third map. It won't be the final one. It's all even still, so we will be going into Ruinberg. Well, while it's heating up here in the studio, hopefully it will be heating up in the game as well, as we are going into the third map. It will be Ruinberg, as we said, in the south in blue. It's going to be the DeNova side, who did pick up that last map, surprisingly, away from Virtus.pro. But what are the likes of Virtus.pro up to right now?
They're pushing straight, as DeNova did, from the north, pushing straight up towards the village. The only difference is that 5100 is towards the left and not the right of that thing. Phoenix getting the early spots onto Virtus.pro, Just Cause and Kusok. Ostet Benders in the back as well, being spotted by Kusok. DeNova pushing in hard as well. They've kind of done exactly what they did previously, kind of get themselves in the village area, trying to get an early advantage, trying to get an early spot with Phoenix in his 5100. But look at Virtus.pro, so aggressive, pushing forwards up the zero line, not wasting any time, trying to get some higher ground perhaps. Definitely a new tactic, definitely something we haven't seen previously from these two teams. Creech, the team captain of Virtus.pro, pushing straight towards the city area. But at the moment, Kusok leading the charge. He's going to try and get the upper ground onto DeNova. DeNova look a bit, at the moment, they look a bit surrounded, to be honest, and they're probably going to get themselves shot from behind if they don't be careful. But DeNova playing it quite well, staying behind the kind of wall area in that village, and I think they're going to be all right here.
Yeah, they've worked around it. Virtus.pro seem to have overextended a touch. Hopefully execution will work out for DeNova here. They have got the shell connection onto Breakneck already. Now focusing towards Amelka and Delight. Delight getting hammered down to 620 HP. Has to back away. He can't escape right there. 119.83. He is out of there. And that is a lovely start. Positive coming up big already. Phoenix following up onto Breakneck. So the two players who were holding that village have been taken down. One reply coming in so far for the likes of Virtus.pro. And the exchange continues. Winnie the Pooh taking down Just Cause. DeNova aren't crumbling here, but Amelka's in a great place. With Kusok not too far away, they can hammer these guys down and out. But Amelka receives a shell. 1136 is left on him, pushing towards Winnie the Pooh. Positive is just steps away, peers out. 914. She's actually been tracked there. This is going to allow so much easy damage to be dealt. 339. Amelka has to go down the situation. He's got three players against him, and there he goes. Winnie the Pooh will claim that one. And now Kusok, well, he's pretty much 1v3 aside from those dear tier 1s. Charging forward, literally getting rammed to pieces. 125. He is out of there. And now we do see basically just the tier 1 standing. Kusok is trying to escape for his dear life, but I think Bad News is just going to deal with him nice and quickly. But Kusok has somehow escaped and evaded the entirety of DeNova. But there we have it. Bad News will finish that one off, and we do see the likes of Virtus.pro really just kind of throwing that one a little bit. 30 seconds left on the cap, but I don't see this paying off unless something mystical happens. Positive's just charging in, 23 seconds. Positive surely going to get that, and he does. 32 now on the board. They know that other tier 1 is in there. Karitz, it's game over, buddy. You're about to get rammed by Positive, and that is not a delightful sight to see. DeNova will be claiming the third map here. This is a surprising result. Virtus.pro went all in there, and I don't know what they were thinking, if I'm honest. Virtus.pro went a little bit too aggressive. They went, okay, let's charge down that zero line. Why? I'm
not really sure if that was the problem for Virtus.pro. You know, I just think generally DeNova had just a better thinking in their strategy. Basically, you know, DeNova didn't play particularly well either, especially Ostabend. I mean, Ostabend is such a questionable player in so many respects, you know. Yeah. He was in that T69, he was on 226 HP, he knew he was getting sniped down by Kusok in his AMX-3090. He knew he's a one-shot for the 240 average damage most of the time. So he went around the corner, got himself sniped down for no reason at all. So that was an error from Ostabend and DeNova. Yeah. That was the problem, you know. But still, Virtus Pro just found themselves completely in the open. The biggest problem was the fact that Amelka pushed in that T69. They could have still won it at that point because a lot of DeNova was reloading. Amelka pushed in, trying to take down Phoenix. He went the wrong direction, went right instead of left, and then the whole of the DeNova guys just charged him, surrounded him, rammed him, and just took him out of the picture. And then Kusok couldn't do much else in that 1390. So they had a lot of problems, Virtus Pro. It was a little bit of a strange tactic. DeNova, though, reacted to it perfectly. Brilliant play from them. They don't look like a tired team. They don't look like an unmotivated team. They look like a perfect team, and they execute everything absolutely perfectly. Really looking forward to our next map.
Yeah, I think they just have a quick little break here just to kind of sort everything out and make sure they are kind of prepared in the best way to go forward, because actually DeNova have a chance against the likes of Virtus Pro, which is a real baffling sight to see. No one would have expected this result. Looking at, well, DeNova's games yesterday, they were not on form. So we are going to go to a quick commercial break. We will be back in just a moment, hopefully with some more World of Tanks action. back, ladies and gents. It's been an incredible game already so far. We've seen Virtus Pro pushed a little bit too much, it seems. They've only managed to pick up 1 map out of 3 and are behind against DeNova going into the 4th. So let's dive into the tank picks because they are getting that underway as we speak. And while we say that, it will be Prokhorovka, one of the most historic maps basically throughout the entirety of Tank's history, let alone just this game. So this is going to be a really, really interesting way to see this go down because, well, if DeNova pick this up, they've just beaten Virtus Pro, the top tier seed. Yeah,
indeed. If Virtus Pro do get beaten here, there's no second chances of going straight down to play for 3rd place and possibly even drop down to 4th. And I was speaking to Diver, the team manager of Virtus Pro yesterday, and he asked me for my top 3 predictions. I was like, Virtus Pro 3rd, DeNova 2nd, Krasnokru 1st. And he was like, no, we're going to take it. And I was like, well, you think that, but, you know, you're 2-1 down at the moment against DeNova, who wasn't even my first pick. But, yeah, we on to Prokhorovka, which is, well, Virtus Pro's strongest map in Season 1, winning it 14 out of 14 times, 100% win ratio. This season, not done so as well, but still their best map by far, winning it 70% of the time. So this is going to be a hard game for the side of DeNova, although the last time they met on match day 14, they did actually take this one, Prokhorovka, so they have beaten them on their own best map, and they also beat them on Himmelsdorf, which is their 2nd best map, so they're kind of beating them at their best maps, which is really strange.
It is, but why don't you take us through tank picks so far?
Tank picks being picked from both sides. We've got Virtus Pro taking triple AMX 1390, double T69, double T1, and DeNova going for that triple AMX 1390, double T69, double T1 as well. So mirrored lineup from both teams.
Okay, so let's give the nod to count down when both are ready, because I'm so surprised how this is going already. Seeing DeNova, the side that really didn't step up at all yesterday, somehow challenging the big guys. This is unreal stuff. You can see Virtus Pro on your screens there, the Russian giants who look a little bit nervous, to say the least, because this could be them already slipping. The team have always been the bridesmaid, now the bride could once again be falling out of favor here, but it's the time to step up in this 4th map, which will be Prokhorovka. So welcome into the 4th map, and could possibly be the final map unless Virtus Pro can change the tide at the moment, as DeNova are 2 maps to the good and they only need 3 to walk away with this, and simple math kind of helps you out on that one. This would mean they win if they pick this one up. But let's see what they get up to first of all. It'll be Virtus Pro starting in the south in that golden yellow, whereas in the blue in the north it'll be DeNova. So what are we seeing so far?
Virtus Pro very Krasnokru-esque, pushing straight out the middle with those AMX 90s, T69s and hot pursuit. DeNova though doing the same, pushing up there, trying to get some early shots off of Melka. Will do the first one, missing it though. So a very aggressive Virtus Pro, positive, trying to reply with a shot there, but no damage so far. Both teams sitting on 100%. Karitz and Las Vegas going left. But look at this, we can see Kusok and Just Cause spread it straight away, lashing off to the left with those AMX 3090s. Remember, you've got a Melka, Delight and Breakneck as well, and those T69s will be providing all the hull down burst damage they can. But at the moment, no damage so far, although YR did just take a shot, and Just Cause playing it perfectly in that AMX 1390.
Yeah, and DeNova have no idea right now where Virtus Pro are. Kusok just appearing every now and then. YR received a completely blind shot. He did not know where the opposition was hiding, so he just has to deal with that one, take it on the chin and move on. But we do see a very aggressive start from both sides. This is an incredible play. You can see that Virtus Pro literally are over the hill now. Bad news received, some bad news. Getting 2 shells connected perfectly. 863. Now Oster Bender being focused down to 602. Make it 344. DeNova are feeling the wrath of Virtus Pro right now. There's no way out of it. They're being surrounded by Just Cause, and they can't find the reply. They physically have put themselves in the worst situation here. They're in the literally the worst place to fight back at Virtus Pro, who have the higher ground, who have the better gun depression in aspect in the way they're positioning themselves. Because look at the HP of DeNova. Bad news sitting on only 372. Ostat Bender 344. YR 590. They're so damaged, as only a Melka has really received any sort of reply.
Yeah, that's not a good play from DeNova at all. If anyone's played random battles of Prokhorovka, you know that from the north, you can't actually go out the middle quite so aggressively like that. That's why you see teams from the north going over towards that road area and usually towards the village area if they do feel so. It just depends on the team. Virtus.pro definitely have the better advantage. They have the better map advantage in general, and that's not something DeNova really cottoned onto. So they have to get themselves back into this game. They're in a similar situation now as to DeNova was in on the previous map, which was Steps, but I think Bad News are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, he has just gone down to the hands of a Melka there, who just appeared at the best of times. Ron replying, but it's only tier 1 exchanges. The damage is still towards mid. Positive is now being focused down heavily. 909 is left on him. Make it 676. He is left on a slither of health, being pounded from every single angle. Delight is not helping the matter at all, just about missing that shell. But somehow Positive stands with 459. Dancing between these bullets that are landing inches away. You can see the explosions around the poor boy. Just Cause dives in on 633 HP, looking to target him down immediately. Gets into a great position, but can he finish off in time? 403, he can. Kusok will get the final blow, but Just Cause gets to push up and use his body for cover. 169 left now. Focus for Virtus.pro is now towards YR and Phoenix.
Yeah, YR and Phoenix have everything to do. And no time at all. I don't think they can actually pull this one up. Amelka does get tracked right in the middle of the field, repairing immediately, but Delight's going to come up to the left, and they're just going to surround YR here, but it's going to be a good amount of shots from Phoenix coming in. He actually misses his first one to Just Cause, but look at Delight, he's going to charge in onto YR.
Yeah, Delight pushing forward. YR tries to retract back, shells rain in. He's got to be careful. The cap is underway, but, well, YR is getting absolutely railed here. 1-4-1. There's no escape right now. Virtus.pro have once again stepped up, as now Phoenix is the last man standing who can do any real form of damage for the DeNova side. Dancing around the railroad, he's got no way out of here, as Breakneck will punish him for that little move there. So we've seen some brilliant play already coming out from Virtus.pro, and this is the team that we know. But what the hell has happened, I do not know. They finally stepped back up. It is going to be all even. There's no way on God's green earth that Winnie the Pooh, as much as I love him, can pull this off, and Just Cause will remove him from the situation. Peering forward, Winnie the Pooh makes a stand, but, well, it's not quite enough. So Virtus.pro get themselves back in the game here, bringing it back all even, all squared, 2-2. And, well, it's time for them to turn the tide, it seems.
Indeed it is. I mean, we're on some Mines, which will be our 5th and final map. 2-2, as you said. Prokhorovka and Steps going to Virtus.pro. Ruhenberg as well, and Ensk, the 2 city maps, going to the side of DeNova, and you could see then that DeNova didn't really seem to turn up on that map. That whatever their tactic was just didn't seem to work in any way, shape or form, and I think that could just be some bad decision making from their team, some bad calls and some perhaps ill thought out tactics on the side of Prokhorovka, because if you play the game at all, you know that you can't do that on Prokhorovka, even on random battles, and that's against players nowhere near up to the standard of Virtus.pro.
So what do you think DeNova would do? Do you think that they just thought that Virtus.pro wouldn't be there, or
yeah,
they just must have misread the situation, I guess?
I think they misread the situation, and I think they perhaps underestimated the fact that Virtus.pro had the better positions because of the way the map works. I think they probably maybe even thought Virtus.pro would push up some tanks at the 1-2 line, but it's hard to call because DeNova was in a position to try and deal with a push from the middle. But this is one of the things that's kind of strange. The whole weekend we've been watching teams from the south destroying teams from the north and Prokhorovka. Kazan Crew went in, Evil Panda Squad, and I just think no one's been paying attention to the mistakes the other teams have been making. They really need to be watching the other teams and seeing that you can't do what they're doing, because you're just going to get punished over and over again. So some real kind of tactics need to be thought through. Some of these teams need to start breaking Prokhorovka a little bit more, as the map doesn't have any artillery, so it's a lot harder to play.
So guys, we will be getting tank picking underway, so let's dive into that screen and have a look at what they're getting so far ready for Mines. I don't think we can see anything crazy, but we have seen the occasional T-32s appearing and other kind of odd choices, nothing too mental, but there's been some curious picks coming out from the tanks. But what do you think we're going to see here?
We're going to see standard stuff to start off with, at least AMX-90 ×2 and T1s. So pretty standard stuff. T1, T69 next will be Virtus.pro's pick, as will it be for DeNova, riposted by a T69 AMX-3090 for Virtus.pro.
Was that guy shaking?
And double
Did you
T69.
see what he was doing? He was like shaking. It was very weird.
Shaking?
Yeah.
Who? The far guy on the far right?
Yeah, it was very, very strange.
It's a Melka.
very strange boy. Maybe it was Stephen was just near him and he got a little bit nervous.
He was in the Red Rush Unity before moving on to the Red Rush. One of my old teammates, in fact.
Did he do that before?
I have no idea what he's doing.
He's having issues.
I think he's had a few more Red Bulls than he should have had, to be honest. Yeah, maybe he's had a couple of vodka Red Bulls already.
Russians.
You know what the Russians are like. AMX3090 being picked for the last for Virtus Pro, waiting on that DeNova pick. They did pick double T69 for their last one, so standard stuff so far. Virtus Pro with their triple MX3090, double T69, double T1, a lineup they really enjoy to use. And I think we might see a Pershing or a T32 from DeNova if we're lucky.
Really? Do you think they'll risk it now? They're all even with Virtus Pro. This is the final map. Mines is a map that if you just play very well, if you play smart, you'll generally win it. You don't need to depend on super strategies. It's just a one-on-one play. Do you really think they're going to risk it here when they're all tied up with the top seed in this tournament?
The reason they won Enskent and Nuremberg is because they played quite unexpectedly the Virtus Pro, so that may be what they're thinking here. Although that last pick will be the AMX39, so the triple AMX3090 triple T69, double AMX3090, double T1. So the only difference between these two teams here, folks, is the extra T69 for DeNova. That's exchanged for the extra AMX3090 for Virtus Pro. So that only difference is the kind of the ability for that T178 gun from the T69 to really do the burst damage. 260 average damage coming from that. The MX3090 obviously with that F3 able to do 1,440 with that 6-shell autoloader, but it takes a lot longer between shots, about 2.8 seconds for the MX3090, 2.5 seconds for the T69.
Oliver the Wikipedia kicked into gear there. I love the stats you just occasionally come out with, like turret speed. Like, where in your mind is that kept? Like, I can barely remember.
It replaces all the things
breakfast.
that I should learn, like, I don't know, people's names, I don't know, stuff for university.
T69.
Exactly. It replaces important stuff, Lauren. It's my problem.
That's what I like to hear. Fantastic. But nevertheless, Virtus Pro are ready. We're just going to wait on DeNova, who will be talking things through. You can see the lineup on the screen. It'll be YR, Positive, Ronnie, Ostap Benner, Winnie the Pooh, Bad News, and the Hive, or Phoenix. Now looking at Virtus Pro side, it's Breakneck, Just Cause, Delight, Las Vegas, Emelka, Karitz, and Kusok. So these guys have been battling it out through the WOT Pro League Season 2 for months now to get themselves a chance of making it here, and seeing already Virtus Pro being challenged by DeNova, who you've always tipped as someone who's an up-and-coming team, is exactly what this tournament is all about.
It sure is.
Sometimes, Oliver, I wish I could punch you, but I can't. Anyway, guys, they ignored the countdown. They were like, do you know what, guys, we're just ready. We are ready and almost underway, because we are going to be going into the final map here. It's going to be the one, the only Mines. So, welcome to the fifth and final map here. This will define who walks away with this one. DeNova edged ahead until they got to Prokhorovka, where Virtus Pro stood tall and stood proud and showed us why they were that very tip-top team in this season. But we do see it now going towards Mines. What are we seeing so far?
Well, we're seeing a massive engagement straight on the hill.
Wow, straight away, Phoenix is in trouble, surrounded by Virtus Pro. 557 is all he's left with, as now Bad News comes around, gets one shell received from Emelka, Breakneck being taken low. First frag falls in favor to the Virtus Pro side, taking down Phoenix, but now Virtus Pro have to get more. Bad News is looking hungry for blood. He's taken down another. Ostap Bender finding a good couple, taking down Karitz and Breakneck. Ostap Bender now looking for Emelka. 4 players focusing him down. This is unbelievable play. Virtus Pro might actually lose this, but here comes Kusok. Gets one onto Bad News. Ostap Bender being taken low. 142, he's gone down as well. Emelka holding on at the very last second. This is unreal play. YR now being taken low as Virtus Pro somehow turn the tide here on the very last map, as now only Positive is the only damage dealing player left alive for the DeNova boys to hold on to this one somehow. He's in the T69, he's got a lot of targets to find. His first one will be Emelka. One little bit of a shell received there, nothing too much of a trouble. GG's already being said no faith at all coming out from his teammates. And Melka just chasing around and waiting for them. He knows he's on the reload. Oh, he got caught there by that already fallen teammate. Kusok just comes through, looking to bring the fire. Oh, he misses the one shot that he needed, the money shot. And that is it. Here comes the rest of Virtus.pro to make sure he is punished right now. And DeNova can do nothing about this. Virtus.pro in the very final moments. Stand up, stand tall, and get it in the bag. Brilliant play going through. They look chuffed with that. They fought hard for that one as well. That was no easy task, but they certainly deserved it.
They certainly did deserve it. That was just an epitome of errors from DeNova. They could have easily won that one. The 3 T69s collapsing onto Melka absolutely failed miserably. I think Osterbender got stuck on some stone. It's just a basic driving thing. Guys need to go back to driving school or something. So yeah, there was a couple of errors from DeNova. The MX-39s on the hill had the gun depression just about to shoot those T69s as they kind of try and navigate their way around that hill. And that was just poor play from DeNova in general. But yeah, congratulations to Virtus.pro taking this one against DeNova, 3-2. Not an easy battle at all for those guys, and they're looking a bit shaky, Virtus.pro, and this could easily see them getting taken down by the next team they play, which will be either Kazna Crew or the mighty Evil Panda Squad.
And the danger is, DeNova looked shaky against those two yesterday. I mean, really bad.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And now they've been able to bring this game so close. I'd be worried. I can imagine Lex is going to go sit down with his team and have a little bit of a chat about, you know, what happened there. It's all about the review period. They've got to kind of go through it again because something wasn't quite right. They still managed to connect the shells, don't get me wrong. As individuals, they were fine. I don't think there was any mistakes there. On a team level, there was various amounts of problems. They didn't seem to be as cohesive as they normally are. There's normally so much cohesion between them. It's so perfectly executed. They're a clinical side normally. When they pull off a strategy, it works. If it doesn't, it's very rare, and it's because someone's caught them off guard already, like Spale, like Dignitas. There's very few teams who can do it. But for example, even Ruenberg, they executed their strategy. They didn't think that actually DeNova might push up to the village as well and be able to get around behind us. They left no one to hold the flank or the rotate, which is very un-Virtus.pro-like. These guys are normally absolutely on point. And then they looked a little bit off. Nevertheless, they did pick it up there on that final map, which was Mines. Obviously, various mistakes happening for DeNova rather than strong play from Virtus, so I feel. Yeah,
it was a bit of a strange lineup for the side of DeNova. I mean, you've got to remember the 3 MX-09s of Virtus.pro was the one actually that won it. They won on the lineup as well. You know, they had 3 for the hill. Phoenix got trapped out on the MX-09. He managed to do almost no damage at all, getting completely destroyed. And that was a massive problem for DeNova, and it just went from bad to worse from there. But we can get a quick interview from Virtus.pro. They let us know exactly what happened in that amazing 5 games.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our first series of the day. No shortage of excitement, not by any stretch of the imagination. I've got Lex here from Virtus.pro. You guys started strong. That first game was good, solid. The next 2 games, you know, you got pushed. They aggressed on you, and you guys sort of fell apart. What happened in those 2 games?
To be honest, right now, without the discussion with the captain, I cannot say for sure what was happening in second and third game. But in second game, for sure, these guys, they were extremely prepared for this, you know, how to say, for this lineup of our tanks. So it was extremely good anti-strat. And the third map, it was aggressive play from our team, and seems like it didn't work. These guys, they did insanely good step from the left side and simply destroyed us. But then we made a pause, as you saw, like a time break, because 2-1. I understand that my team, they were not playing yesterday, you know. These guys are a little bit more warm up. I mean, they are adapted to these PCs and everything. So maybe that's the point. But still, they did really great job in the second and third match. Fourth match was most important because, to be honest, we knew that fifth map is our best map because my team on that last map, they are playing always full extremely great. So that's how I see the whole match.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Well, congratulations to you and your boys. Celebrate. You guys are obviously going to be playing again very, very soon. Guys, we're going to go to a commercial break right now, but we're going to be back very, very soon with some more action. We're obviously going to see Kazna Crew hit the stage yet again, and Evil Panda Squad will be here as well. Not a match you want to miss. It's going to be the second of our matches to decide who goes up in the grand final. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back very shortly.